All right. Shalom, shalom, Israel. This your brother Nayako. I haven't been on for a minute, but I'm glad because I got the chance to watch and see this thing grow to the next level. Science is perplexed. They thought to cook up a cure for the previous virus, and yet the result of their error, their unawareness, their incapability of dealing with the spirit of the matter, the virus, what they say, mutated, and now they call it a Delta virus. Now, my thing is this: it's a brand new thing altogether. We are now in the midst of judgment, people, and you know it not. You admit it not. You confess it not. We are already there. As things increase, I'm going to tell you what the manner of this judgment is. The manner of this judgment is not I do a deed and immediately I feel the repercussions. No. Or a judge standing on the throne and he renders unto me my just reward. No. It is the result of years worth of neglect, evil, hatred, envy one towards another, covetousness, lust, greed, neglect of the whole order. The Most High is a creator such that when he creates, I'm going to tell you, the mark of a complete work according to the kingdom of heaven is self-sustaining. You understand what I'm saying? All things that the Father created is created such that it is capable of being self-sustained. If it's not self-sustaining, then he himself does not consider it a complete work. So the kingdom of heaven, the Most High created the world that it be self-sustaining. He created man that he be self-sustaining in his own life. He created all things to provide and keep and be self-sustaining of itself. Granted, it does the work it was created to do. And so, man himself has been the one element, the one key thing that has gone against his purpose, has gone against his created purpose in life. And so, man, who has taken the Father's perfectly calculated and perfectly created creation, does in it things that are contrary to that creation. And so, in his eyes, all things must be complete. All things must come to a manifest. The scripture says, not until the Gentiles, the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. The time of carnal work, the time of transgression, the time of adversary against the Father and his creation. Until that is measured out and man sees the very result of the actions of his own hands, only then is he capable or able to be awakened, resurrected, self-sustaining in his own evolution in the presence of God. Quiet. Now, you have to understand this. You were created to hold up the life that was granted unto you. We all have given one talent. That one talent is our very life in the presence of the Most High, granted with free will, and free will is not without responsibility. responsibility to the whole, responsibility to self-sustain himself or herself, responsibility to be an instrument for the will of the Most High. We all have this calling in our life. We all have this mandate to do the will of the Most High. Now, it is calculated, a calculated mandate to such a degree that if one jot or tittle be off, then it will yield or render the result thereof, in that one jot must be manifested. You understand what I'm saying? If it were not manifested, man would not know his own mistakes. There are two ways in which to change in the midst of all of these trials and tribulations with which we are suffering right now. That is through love or through pain. You understand? Isn't it not a great pain that comes over you that then gives you the greatest resolve to make a change finally in your life? Isn't it when you lose or hurt at such a degree or at such a level that you are now ready to make the final resolve that you should have made to prevent yourself from dealing with this pain that you suffer in your life, right? Pain is the manifest of a test. You understand what I'm saying? There is no pain that none of us are suffering that is not meant for a purpose to make our spirits recognize and see what's going on today, or what's going on in our life. You understand what I'm saying? If we suffer pain on a unified scale, then something unified is off that needs to be corrected. And so we're unified in our sufferings right now. We're dealing with pestilence, we're dealing with disease, we're dealing with all natural disasters, all that are the result of millennia's worth of work, of mistake, and doing things amiss in the presence of the Most High. We are now reaping the reward for the life we have been living for years. And yet man wants to attribute the cause or the issue, the concern, the result. He wants to issue the very thing happening to something that isn't his own doing, or that even is, maybe he considers his own doings, but he considers it in such a material way that he neglects to understand the spiritual behind the matter. This is what we're suffering right now. This is what we're dealing with right now, the result of the works of our own hands. That is judgment. Judgment is simply cause and result. You understand what I'm saying? Right now, we are dealing with the result of our work. And we can only begin to resolve that until after our heart is pricked. Some of you have had pricked hearts, right? Are dealing with situations right now where you're undergoing a crucible of pain. That after that crucible, your heart will be understanding towards the poor man, understanding towards others' circumstances, understanding, you understand what I'm saying? You see, he who has lived a pampered life and rich and wealthy and all types of luxuries could never understand the hardship of the poor, the impoverished, the pain, the hurt, the one who has lost all their life. You could never understand that pain or vicariously deal with the person in accordance with that pain. You never could. Why? Because you know it not. For the kingdom of heaven is such that in order to truly know a thing, you must be in the thing, act according to the thing, be manifested. The thing must manifest through you. For the one who talks of love, but yet is not a doer, he is a liar. You understand what I'm saying? For one who speaks of good and yet does no good, none whatsoever, you are a liar. If you do the good and feel it not in your heart, you are a liar. You understand what I'm saying? You see, all things must work in harmony from within your being without, so that in that you you can be established as true. But I am telling you right now, each and every one of you who are dealing with your sufferings and with your pain, that is judgment. You can admit it, you can deny it. You can deny it until the pain is great. And even when the pain gets great, if you are that dark and in ignorance and that asleep, the pain will only increase for you. And so now we're dealing with a situation whereby in this time, we are 100% people in the midst of a changing age. We are 100% in the midst of an hour whereby we are now at a new frontier, plateau, age, generation. We are at the very cusp of change on a great scale, because in our hearts, change has already been cooking. In our concepts, we a lot of us have this spiritual nature where we want to be free, but we reason it so incorrectly. And so that's exactly what we're dealing with right now. Our incorrect conclusions of the matters at hand in our present lives right now. You see, I would dare to say that everything that is happening right now is for our good. It is all good, it is all right for the change that must take place in the hearts of every man in this hour and in this age. For the teaching that is coming is going to be the teaching that is going to finally lift you up and put you in the right mind frame of your own evolution in the presence of the Most High. Holding up your life in His presence and giving it as a living sacrifice. Loving one another, doing the right thing in His presence. You are now dealing with a great change that is afoot in our lives right now. People, I don't know how much to tell you, how enough to tell you the right thing in the right way to get you to wake up to the fact that right now is judgment time. You keep listening to those futuristic speakers who tell you about the thing is about to come, or it is not now, because I'm going to tell you right now, for judgment to be now, for those who speak of it in the future, they want it to be, or they only want to wait, or they want man to be ready or ready to move when the thing is great at hand, overwhelming at hand. You understand what I'm saying? All encompassing, surrounding you, all about. Well, I say, while it is yet in that hour where things are not yet that serious, you need to be hightailing it. You need to be giddy-upping, getting it right in your life right now in the presence of the Most High for your own sake. You must get to work right now. Waste not a single moment. Neglect your sins. Turn away from your carnal lives and turn into the living God. Learn how to generate your being out of His being, for out of His own properties made He you. You see, a lot of y'all seeking God, searching for Him, wondering where He is. I'm about to tell you. For there is nothing created in all existence that isn't created that is not a part of Him. That is not His body, His spirit, His mind, His being, His existence. Everything that has life, everything that has life not, everything that is seen and unseen is all what He pulled out of Himself to create. You understand what I'm saying? Every virtue that we call wisdom, love, truth, knowledge, and understanding, all of these came out of Him for these things to exist. All of the material, the matter that makes up my being, my eyes, my nose, my ears, my mouth, and taste and touch and feel, you understand what I'm saying? All of these things came out of Him to make me up so that I may have life. You see, He had to give Himself all away so that all to which he gave can have life. They can have a being. Because he is all things. He gave himself away so that all things can be. And so, he becomes the very essence, the very nature, the very being of all beings. You understand what I'm saying? He becomes the very essence of all beings. And so, just like the fish looking for their God, and their God, let's just say, is water. This is a metaphoric tongue speaking to you. Fish looking for their God, and they know their God is water, and so they go to the wisest fish saying, "Wise fish, I want to find my God. My God is water. Can you help me find him?" The wise fish turn to these foolish fish, seeking their God, saying, "Do you not understand that you are in him? He is all about you. You're looking for the very thing you breathe, the very thing out of which you are created." You see, just like the animals of the sea pull their essence out of the waters, we pull our essence out of the airs, the waters of the airs, the firmament in the sky. We and create our being, and it becomes all to such a certain form and type and criteria just to meet our every needs. Those that are motoristic and some of those that are manual. You understand what I'm saying? That it requires us to perform and act out, and then we have those things that do these things automatically without a single thought, like breathing and digestion and seeing and all of these things that do not require our constant labor in order to perform. Yea, but these things are needed, and they're out of the being of the God that we serve. And I tell you truly that everything that you are doing right now has a result. Everything that has been done, the result of that is manifesting today. We are dealing with a karmistic judgment, a cause and effect type judgment, a result of the deeds that we have been doing for years. And not just for years, but individually in our very lives. Because here's the thing. If there be a wicked father who has a son, according to the word of God, right? And his son, though he be initiated into the wickedness of his father, desires to turn away his heart from his father's deed and do good in his life, shall that son be judged unto evil and wickedness on account of his father? No, this isn't the justice of the Most High. And shall a father's salvation be judged on account of an evil or wicked son? No, this isn't the justice of the Most High. And so, in a sense, the father of us in this carnal life is this carnal world. And if this carnal world has been in such a way a father that has been providing for us our carnal things, if we reject it and say, "Worldly father," or "Worldly mother, you are not mine, for my father and mother are in heaven. Yea, they are spiritual, and yet they are the one, all creator, the all creating being," right? And so you begin to, in order to show forth yourself as neglecting the mother of this, the carnal mother, the carnal father, or I'll just say it, earthly mother, earthly father, and to accept your spiritual father, your spiritual mother. You understand what I'm saying? Which is all the one being that is the Most High. When you're willing to renounce this world, you renounce the provision of this world, the order and mentality and ability, the keep of this world, right? The way of this world, the lot that you are rendered in this world, you give it all away for the sake of receiving what the Father has promised you. Then they can no longer keep you. You receive and accept the higher Father in life, and so now He must keep you and care for you. And so He says, His burden is light, His yoke is easy. You You understand what I'm saying? And so you've got to let go of this world and not depend on this world and depend on him. And so he will never forsake you. He will never leave you. Though this world has left you, though this world, they give you opportunities that can easily be taken away. But the Father, what he gives, he never takes away. And so man comes up with this saying, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away, right? That ruler that is of this world. He gives and he takes away. But I will tell you something that may even shake the very foundations of your understanding. That what the Father gives you, he will never take it away from you. It is yours forever. Now, what you do with it will reap a just reward. And so, your life is yours. His love is yours. His wisdom is all yours. His knowledge is all yours. His understanding is all yours. His being, his breathing, his health, everything that is his being, that is your being in your existence, the elements with which you use to live, they're all yours to do with as you please. But heed me when I say you will reap a just reward with what you do with the being that you are, the creation that you are. You will reap a very just and exact reward, so much so that people will look and they will say, great is your judgment, for your judgment is just and right and true, because every man will know. I'm going to tell you what hell will be. Two things. I will tell you what hell will be, and then I will reveal to you who Satan actually is, and the one you carry with you wherever you go. Hell will be the very point when you wake up to the reality that you have created for yourself while you are yet asleep. You sleep now, yes, and you act in your sleep any way you please, not knowing that every deed that you do, because the Father is just and perfect, they must be measured out and they must be satisfied and appeased. And that which is satisfied and appeased must have a manifest. You understand? To the end of the very thing itself is manifest. You understand? Result, reward. That is the end of every production, every single work is reward. You understand what I'm saying? And that reward is not per se a physical thing, but how the thing plays in your life, the result of what happens when it enters into your life, the result of your work is reaped in your life. The labor, the fruit that is born in your life, you must eat it. You must sup at the table of the fruit you bear. And so hell will be the point when, after all of y'all who are out there consistently doing your evil deeds, right, neglecting and growing more and more, have a hellish and evil in the presence of the Most High, you will finally look, and then you will see how long it's ever going to take you to get to the point where you could have gotten there quicker had you turned to the Most High soon. You will find out that what would have been a single 1, 2, 3 steps for you will turn out to be 10-fold, 1,000-fold, yea, even 100-fold, yea, even 1,000-fold for you. That's what it's going to turn out to be when you see how long it's actually going to take for you to commence your evolutionary process in the presence of the Most High. Commence being even capable of holding up your own life in the presence of the Most High. You will be considered needy, those who are incapable of holding up their own life in His presence. Yeah, it's not that you're incapable because something was taken away from you. No, you are your own thief. You have taken it away yourself. You who have caused yourself to be incapable of sensing the subtleties of the Most High. You are the one who have turned off your sensory system, incapable of hearing his inspiration on your heart 24/7. You turned it off. You neglected it. Every time you neglect to do a good deed, this will reap you in a reward for deeds done and deeds undone, or not done at all, if you will. Deeds done and deeds neglected. You will have to reap the reward for each and every one of these. You see, every time your heart is inspired to do good and you do it not, for he who knows the good he ought to do and does it not, you sin. That is sin for you. So when you pass by and you hear the calling of a good deed to do, to give to this person or to that, or to speak up in this matter or that, and you speak not, yea, you will reap the rewards of these things. Your tongue will become even more muffled because you choose not to speak. You understand? Everything that you heed and do and don't do in your life, it will grow. Whether you do or don't do, it will grow in not doing or doing. You understand what I'm saying? You see, laziness grows on you if you're lazy. Diligence grows on you if you're diligent. Each grow in both ways, but yet they're only both keeping one single law: sowing and reaping. The laws that were meant to be good for you, because of how you're using them, they turn out bad for you. And so all the things that are meant to be good for us, like our freedom right now, with freedom comes a great responsibility to uphold your creation in the presence of the Most High, according to that He has created you. And so those who do not hold up their freedom according to their own creation, they sin. They cause themselves to reap a negative outcome of their own existence. And so they work against themselves in the presence of the Most High, and that work must be manifested. You will eat the fruit of that labor. You understand what I'm saying? And then when you look at and see just how great that is, I'm going to tell you how great it grows. Everybody who stands up to be a leader in the presence of the Most High over nations, over churches, over people, when it comes down for you to commence your evolutionary process, you will not grow faster than the least or the last person who is exalted, who you've assumed leadership over. Let me say that again. If you lead someone or assume to lord over anyone in the kingdom of heaven, when the new life is to come, because you did that and they trusted in you, you caused them to trust in you, and you did not teach them to trust in the Most High. As long as they trust in you and in their way of thinking, by their understanding, you will not exalt or grow in evolution or in blessings in the presence of the Most High no faster than the very last one of your congregation, of your populace, that you assume lordship over. And so, here is the great burden that leaders have to bear. You understand what I'm saying? You lead a whole nation. Now, the Father has given those people that are of that nation to you. And so, where you would be able to grow in His presence, you understand what I'm saying? By studying, researching, and putting to the test, making a part of you all that you know, or your highest truth, your highest wisdom, your highest righteousness that you can muster in His presence. For no man goes wrong when they do these things. When you calls upon yourself what you comprehend to be the highest good, the greatest good in your life, you do nothing wrong. You do the exact right thing, right? And you will have brothers there to help you and court you along the way. But we are meant to do our greatest good, because the highest satisfaction is looking back to know that you've done all that you could in His presence. Yea, I just gave you a great thing that you need to take to your heart. Your highest satisfaction will come. You will come to learn and know, because you are such a stumbling block, or you're a little kid in His presence, and you will always make mistakes, for He is the master. He is the only one that works perfect. So whatever you do will always be a mess, because your consciousness will tell you where you have fallen short in your efforts. But great will be your satisfaction to know that even in that, you did according to the best you could think of, or the best you could muster, in efforts to please your Creator. How satisfied will you be knowing that each day you've done the best you could, right? That is the greatest satisfaction. And so the best you can will always grow and exalt in His presence, for He will add upon you more wisdom and more understanding, more truth, so that you can do even the better of the best you can in His presence. But yet those who lead, even in doing this, you understand? Well, this could have been the point of your very exaltation in His presence, doing the very best you can in His presence. Even in doing this, you will exalt yourself, or you will grow, you will evolve no faster than the least, the very last member of your congregation. And they can be stubborn for millions of years. You will grow no faster than them, because this is what you have heaped. This is a law. This is a thing that you have caused upon your own head, because you assume to be something that you were not in His presence. You understand what I'm saying? For we are all one. We're all equal. And we're not meant to lord ourselves one over another, but yet we do it each and every day. Yea, even those children that you have, the children that you bear, there is a law governing even that you must exalt even your children. Your children must grow, because you brought life into this world, and they were your children. There is a law even governing that. And so this is where the higher law comes, when the one who decides to just be a teacher in the presence of the Most High, and he grows in the presence of the Most High, then he is capable of exalting himself without having to tarry on another. Yea, understand what I'm saying. I'm saying something that's very key to your understanding of what's getting ready to happen right now. Each and every one of you leaders, you have a great burden that you have placed upon yourself, yea, by the works of your very hands. You have put these things on yourself, and you must reap the reward. Each and every one of you who live your life, who covet and do your sins, you have reaped something very great on yourself. And when you come to know the work of love one another, helping one another, and helping each and every one of us grow, when you come to learn that work, you will understand that you can grow no faster than those you have oppressed, those you have lorded over in your life. And so this is why you try to live your life not to harm and stumble a single person in your life, because this must be undone for the sake of the whole. And so right now we're learning for the sake of the whole. We're dealing with curses for the sake of the whole. We're dealing with sufferings for the sake of the whole. The whole is in pain right now, so that the whole must learn and know and understand the true work that is at hand. You see, only he who understands the very present can hear the voice of the Most High, because his voice is always present It is never future. It is always present. From out of the present, you can calculate the future, and that's where prophecy comes from. And out of the past, you can learn from the result of those works so that you can work in the present through the voice of the Most High to do the things that you need to do. For his voice is not an inaudible thing, but yet in action. Will you be able to do the things that you need to do in his presence? Yea, to guide the helm of your life right in his presence. And these things must be guided to the highest light that is in you. But y'all dim that light. Y'all can't even see that light. And neither are you humble enough to cultivate that light and form that light to the right thing in which it needs to be formed, the right appearance in which it needs to be in your life. Yea, some of you don't have a highest light within you, but a highest darkness, and that is your property. You are meant to be the highest darkness, so that the highest light may be known. And you're meant to be the highest light, so that the highest darkness may be known. You understand what I'm saying? And so there are some of us that are made for darkness, and some of us that are made for light. And this is what we're getting ready to learn. I guarantee you, we will all learn and know that tree that Adam ate, the knowledge of good and evil. All things must be manifest, and so evil has been manifested. And so now evil is unknown for what it is, because good is not quite manifest along with it. But then when good and evil is now manifested side by side, man will be able to look from the right to the left and see and choose and make a choice as to which he will follow. And he will go through the pain and the suffering and the grunt work that it takes to be the choice he makes, whether it be evil or whether it be good. You all make your choice. I accept whatever choice you make, and so does the Most High. And so when he accepts his choice, he will reap unto you the reward of the choices you make. And that is the judgment we're under right now, people. And you all understand not the heavy burden that when you really look up, you will understand what hell truly is. And so you will understand that you will understand the cost of your evolution that you've made out for yourself, because of the life you have lived in even this blink of an eye. I tell you the truth, bro. Y'all need to know and understand that this is serious, and stop putting off judgment to the future, and know that it is right now the time in which you ought to work. Right now the time in which you ought to make a choice. Right now the time in which you ought to change your life. You need to know and understand that now is the moment. Your actions right now matter. They matter. So stop neglecting. Stop putting off till tomorrow. Work your own salvation with fear and trembling right now, family. Work it right now. A great time is coming, because a great work is already at hand, and you all know it not. The Spirit is working right now, and out of the work that's being done, there are those that will come and manifest that work to you, who will tell you why this is happening. And to show you that these are the results of your works that you only see. And it's not just about the results of your work either. It is about the preparation for the future work as well, or the future age as well, or for those that are meant for what ought to be happening at hand. Understand, this is what I mean. For this world was created for the righteous, not the wicked. And so right now the world is preparing for the righteous, because they're coming. They are even yet already here and learning from the things that are happening at hand. You understand what I'm saying? And so the world is preparing her face for them, so that she may be ready prepared for them, so that the way may be made straight and their path clear, that they may walk and perform the work that must be afoot so that the kingdom of heaven can be manifested in this life. You understand that there's work that must be done right now physically in this world, governing nationwide everything that must be done in this world, yea, by the hands of those that are here. You understand what I'm saying? With the help of the powers of the Most High, which are the angels, which are like his hands, his arms, his feet. These things work in the earth so that they may do such a work so as to be manifested to be the will of the Most High, the kingdom of heaven that is yet even at hand. Y'all gotta understand that there's a great work afoot right now. Everything that is happening is the preparation of those that are already here, ready to do the right and grunt work in the presence of the Most High. And I tell you truly that you need to make a change right now. And that's just the brunt of the message that I have for you. I know I haven't done a message in a while, but guess what? A lot of work is getting ready to come out of this YouTube page and my website. So y'all stay tuned. A lot of work is coming. The struggle that I've had has been dealing with ego, if you will. Because here's the thing that I've learned. That with the ego comes identity. And identity is the thing within you that identifies with this being your belief, your right, your establishment. And when you identify with something, you are contrary to the opposition thereof. Anything that is not you, you exalt over. You feel as if you're better than. Ego causes these things. You look at yourself and you say, I'm on the right path and others are not. You look at yourself and you believe that others are not like you. And if they're not like you, there's anger, hatred, and resentment towards them because they do not do the same as you would. The same as you have identified yourself with. But I tell you truly, even those that do evil are still doing the will of God. I promise you, hear me, everybody is right now doing the will of God. And everything that is done will be the manifestation of the kingdom of heaven out of it, out of all the bad, out of all the good. Everything is being made known. Hear me now. That when the law speaks of a negative thing, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, that the law speaks that if you live by the sword, you shall die by the sword. And so all of these things, because they are happening, we can speak about them and attest to the truth thereof. If they were not to happen, we could never figure that they are true or not. We do not know that our actions can potentially provoke someone else because of the things that we've done. But the law speaks of these things. Provoke ye not one another, right? To evil. But yet, provoke one another to good and to righteousness. You understand what I'm saying? And so, while all y'all out there speaking hateful things one towards another, provoking the anger that is within each and every one of us, we could be provoking the love also that is within each and every one of us, which means that it is a two-way street. But yet, them that know exactly what's going on, ego comes into play when you decide to identify with even the good or the bad. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of just being a working instrument, you decide to identify. You understand? Because here's the thing. When I do a good thing, it is the will of the Most High, in such that the good thing is what's like him. Now, when I do an evil thing, it is the will of the Most High, not that the evil thing is like him, but that the evil thing is what makes the good thing known to be good, because it is an evil thing. And this is the reason why I've chosen to be the good thing. You understand what I'm saying? And so the evil works as a mirror, or a thing against which the good is made known. The pain is a thing against which the good is made known, because out of pain, man always makes the resolve that he otherwise would never have made had that pain never come, had that pain never entered into that person's life. But yet, we get to the point to where we begin to identify with the higher things, because in the midst of evolution, you get things, more things like wisdom, truth, knowledge, and understanding. And sometimes getting these things tends to puff you up. And that's where ego comes into play. These things tend to puff you up, and you look and you say, I am wise. You look and you say, I am knowledgeable. But he who is truly wise and humble and knowledgeable in the presence of the Most High knows that what he received, he didn't receive out of himself. No. He received it all from the Most High. And so what is he to be puffed up about when he is but a steward of the wisdom of the Most High, an instrument of the knowledge and truth and love of the Most High, right? You have no identity but the fact that you are but an instrument of the will of the Most High. And so that ego's got to go when you get close to the Most High. You can have no ego in his presence. You understand what I'm saying? You can have no ego, no exaltation in your heart, no pride in your heart in his presence, but simply subtlety and humility in his presence. Acceptance of whatever happens to you in his presence. Whatever he decides to put you through in his presence, you need to learn to cultivate that feeling. You need to learn to cultivate that in your life. And so some of y'all are going through these struggles and trials and tribulations, and they hurt bad because you've identified yourself with something. Yeah, because the pain is born out of your identity, your own ego. The struggle is born out of your own ego, because a lot of y'all have been puffed up in this life because of your riches and because of your wealth. And so when they're taken away from you, you feel pain. Yeah, but if you never identified with these things, whether they be here or not, you remain serene. You remain calm. You remain cool, right? Because these are the things you are. These are the things that not that you are as in a sense of this is what you identify with, but these are the instruments with which you were originally given, the organs of your spirit with which you originally operated. And so your organ, your spiritual organ is calm. Your spiritual organ is love. You understand what I'm saying? Peace, and wisdom, and understanding. These are your spiritual organs. But if they are misused, they turn to the contrary. And so love, when it is misused, it turns to the contrary. Peace, when it is misused, it turns to the contrary. Wisdom, truth, love, all of these things that we are initially given, they turn to the contrary and must feed thereby. And so if I live off of hatred, I must feed off of it in order for me to feel satisfied. Because everything that you desire is but a hunger. Every sickness that you all are dealing with right now is but a hunger. You understand what I'm saying? And so you all are hungry for these diseases that you're suffering right now. Hungry for these trials and tribulations that you're suffering right now. And you understand just not. You understand, you do not understand how this is the case for you in your spirit. But yet, this is your ego talking to you. speaking with you, you're fighting against, you're fighting with. You understand what I'm saying? Your own ego. And so when you look at Christ in the wilderness, you find out that that is the Satan he was dealing with. It was the ego that he had an identity towards. You see, I will make you king, ruler over all of these things, because you got to understand Christ was blessed with many faculties given to him by the Most High. And so a lot of us can get these faculties and we will run amok. I'm a God. I'm over you. I'm this. I'm that. It has been done in the past. I've read many times that a lot of people have claimed themselves to be false gods and rulers and Ra and Osiris over people. You understand what I'm saying? They've claimed, mere men have claimed to be gods over other men and women in the earth while in the flesh. You understand what I'm saying? And so ego has caused people to rise up and think that there's something that they're not in the presence of the Most High. And the Father only stood back and let them have at it. Because if you want to claim to be these things, then you will reap the reward. Because there's only one who can sustain all of creation, and that is the Most High himself. Those of you who take up slaves and those of you who decide you want to rule over others, you will yield. Understand, America has the burden of taking care of every citizen in their country, in their nation. That is a burden that they must take care of. You understand what I'm saying? And so when we suffer with pandemics, they got to send out stimulus, because that is the reward. That is the result, the responsibility of taking rulership over man. So that's their burden they must deal with. You understand what I'm saying? Do you see how the law turns out to be the very thing that when it seems all good at the beginning, you feel satisfied because you got this material thing. But I tell you truly that every material thing that you acquire, also you become nothing but a keeper, a gatekeeper, a guard of that very thing. You have a lot of money, you become the guard and gatekeeper of that money. You have a lot of workers and a lot of business and things, you become the guard and the gatekeeper of that business. You understand? You've got to protect it. You've got to watch over it. You've got to provide for it. You've got to make sure it's continuously sustaining and upkeeping itself. Because hear me now. A lot of y'all may think y'all can create self-sustaining businesses, but I tell you truly that you must update over and over and over again to keep with the times, because the wants of man, the desires of man constantly evolves. You understand what I'm saying? And so what you think is a business may be obsolete eons from now. And so you must also work with the evolution of man with your business, or your business will no longer be self-sustaining. And so it becomes a work, and this business becomes your child, and you go to have to keeping this child over and over again, even if you want to hire men, because it comes to a point to where employing usury begins to become the very thing that works against you. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you think that you can create for yourself a lazy lifestyle, where you build these businesses and you put so many people over it that you think you can just wake up and sleep and not have to work about a single thing and live your luxury and lazy life, understand you me when I say this, it will all be taken away from you. And so in your lethargy, you have learned nothing but to be lazy, and thrust upon you will be work and toil and labor. Because these are the things I'm talking about: work, toil, and labor at the continued degree that you have met in life will all be thrust upon you at once. And you will have no way to sustain it. and you will do nothing but fall and crumble under the weight thereof. I tell you truly, you all know not the burdens you have built for yourself in this life. And now, all of you leaders who have established this nation and continue to keep these nations and rose up to the top of the Babel of this nation, you will all have to hold it up as it continues to crumble in the presence of evolution, in the presence of the renewal of the face of the earth for the righteous. You understand? The world is being made ready, prepared for the righteous right now as we speak. And so cleansing or washing is going about in various lands. In a cleansing, a fire is going about in various places so that it may be cleansed of the filth and the gunk and the muck that man has built up. And so that man may wake up to the error in his ways and to the actual spirit essence of all things. All of these things must come to pass until you all recognize and see what you're doing wrong. Listen at what I'm telling you. I'm trying to manifest exactly the presence before you of the Most High that you're dealing with right now. You all know it not, but you are at war with him. And he's not at war with you. That's the problem. He's only doing, or things are only happening according to that which is the law he has already established. And so, where we decide to put a band-aid on it all the time and hide ourselves from the truth thereof, no. You can't always put a band-aid on it and hide it. Just like I tried to put a band-aid on COVID. It mutated into something absolutely different. And so now scientists are perplexed with the adversities thereof. And so they think they continue to make more and more, but this thing is meant to be on our heads. If it were not meant to be on our heads, you could solve it and get rid of it entirely. But it's meant to be here to show us something. If we could only get the message of it, then things will change or begin to change for us. We will because we will be able to work. Have you ever known or said to yourself that you could never really overcome something until you knew the cause of it? Even within yourself, you could never let go of certain pains and hurts and things that you're dealing with, or depression, or sorrows, or whatever it is that you're dealing with. You can never really let it go until you identify the cause and the problem of it. And when you know, it seems like there's a great relief because you know what to do to get rid of it. And so that is the exact same thing that's happening with these diseases. It's all nothing but a big body. Right now, what is nature but the largest creature in existence? Nature. It's all things in one. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you look at the whole earth, the Father sees it as one big creature. Nature itself. And so, any creature who is mistreated, who is done wrong, or who is neglected, will lash out eventually. And so, why is it that we can accept the smallest creature lashing out and say that creature had the right to do so? See that one of the smallest creature is ill kept by its owner and desire to save that creature, and not see that this whole world is ill kept by the people of it. Mankind who was meant to keep it and cultivate it and treat it right. So when nature lashes out, what's the difference? What, because it is a bigger creature? No. You gotta understand. And so, I'm trying to reveal to you the exactness of the life that you all are faced with right now. We all are faced with right now. And that there's work to do spiritually. No longer material. Let's leave that off, because the material will come when we deal with the spiritual as well. Because to deal with the spiritual, you must work in the manifest, the material, to do what you are, to manifest that which is spiritually in your heart. You see, the unseen seeks to be seen and made known. And so, for wisdom to be made known, she must work through material properties to manifest her being, her essence, which she is. Love, for it to be made known, must work through the manifest to be made known, right? And so, when you give, you look and you say, that's love. How? If it wasn't for the unseen wanting to be made known and seen by you, so that you can know who your Father is. And so, when he created nothing but good, saying it is very good. You understand what I'm saying? Knowing that he, the only one, is the one that does good, and we are the ones that make mistakes and stumble and get things wrong in this life, you come to learn and find out that even that very good wants to be manifested. When we make a mistake, it is not him, it is us. Yea, because we are the ones who makes the mistakes. We always will make a mistake in his presence, but we will make a mistake according to the highest truth and wisdom and knowledge that we can. That's what we want to do. We want to work. Listen at me, I know it sounds crazy. You want to work to your highest manifest, even though your highest manifest isn't yet good enough. But it is still your highest manifest. The Father will look at son and daughter and say, my child, you have done the best you could. I am proud of you. Job well done. I will finish the rest. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you want by him finishing the rest, that finishing will grow your faith. That was once a mustard seed into a mighty tree. You understand what I'm saying? You've got to learn how your inner man grows in the presence of the Most High, so that you can work on it, because that is the work of evolution that you must deal with. And so the work is not a selfish work. No, the work is an all-inclusive work, right? And so man learns that he only is able to grow with what he does for others. And so greater is the wealth of him that gives than him that receives. You understand what I'm saying? And so the more we give, the wealthier we become, the stronger we become to give. You understand what I'm saying? When we exercise, do we not yet give our strength? And so the giving of that strength, does it not make us stronger, right? But greater is the strength that comes when you give love. For you become a stronger lover. When you give wisdom, you become stronger in wisdom. You understand what I'm saying? When you give of the truth in your life and you live according to your highest truth, not according to... Listen at me, because when I say your highest truth, a lot of y'all got truths that are not truths at all. Yea, none of you know the truth if you know not the Father, because he is the only truth, not you. You understand what I'm saying? And so you try to live up to his highest image that you have. You understand? Of the Most High. And you've got to understand that there are those who have an image higher than the one that you have. And so this is where you become the student, the learner, because you perceive a greater conception of the Most High. And so here's the kicker that's going to separate. Because things will be muffled and confused when there is no side by side, when the Father is not seen working on behalf of the one who is absolutely right in his presence, or doing the right thing in his presence. But the Father will come down and he will put his mark of approval on the ones that are doing right in his presence, on the ones that are doing right in his presence, so that he may know, so that those standing around may know that this is his jewel, that this is the one who he approves of, so that all may know, and so that this person may be completely separated from all the confusion of those who think they know and know not. So the Father will work on their behalf. You will see that their work will be in line with all that is going around about of all of creation. and you will see these things, and that's what's going to manifest and make the separation. And that's when you know the highest good is present. That's when we will all know and learn that the highest good is here, working right now. The highest good is not a good that is at its end. No, it is a good that is rightly formed and constantly growing in the presence of the Most High. When he knows that if I stand with this good would only grow in me, just the way that it should. And so I want everyone to learn to grow as this good grows, according to this good, just how this good grows. And when many people begin to learn how to act and do right in the presence of the Most High, family, then we all begin to learn and know the true process of resurrection and evolution in the presence of the Most High. That's when we all grow and become mature beings in His presence, adults in His presence, and no longer children who continue to stumble and lose their lives in His presence, but yet we hold up our own cross in His presence and follow Him. For He is the one to follow, the only one to follow, the Father and the Father alone. And so when you talk about truth, your truth should not be without unification with the will that is His truth of the Most High. You understand? And so those of you who know not the Father and you say my truth, you are a liar. For if you know not the Father and you admit that He is not the one to follow, then you know nothing really at all. You are a liar. But hear you me. We are now in the age of judgment. The age of judgment always was. But now, the burden of these nations are now measured up. And we're dealing with great want right now. We're dealing with great want right now. Unceasing want that is now overcoming and consuming these nations because they assume to be lords over men. And none shall assume to lord themselves over a single man without also upholding the responsibility and the burden thereof. And so there's a great burden that's coming upon all of these nations because the process of evolution is being rendered. The result of it is being rendered right before our very eyes. The change, a new age is being born right before our very eyes, and they do not know how to deal with it. They do not know how to deal with it spiritually, let alone materially. But spiritually, they know not how to deal with it, none whatsoever. And so now it's just going to simply increase because they're not dealing with the issue. They're dealing with their own issues, their own conclusions of what they think is a problem, their scientific cover-ups, where the science covers up the real truth of the matter, that it is a spiritual war at hand. And so science makes everything material. They say global warming, carbon emissions, and all of these things. They put the vaccinated are putting the blame on the unvaccinated right now because they want the blame to be elsewhere. Because the vaccinated now, they have an ego where they identify with being vaccinated and better than those that are not vaccinated. They say, I am not a cause of the problem that is currently still at hand with these diseases, and now that the numbers are growing, I'm not. I did my part. So I did my work. I ain't got to worry about nobody else. That's how they identify. And so now the vaccinated are now building up racism again against the unvaccinated. Do you understand how this is constantly being the cycle that we're dealing with over and over again? But yet, if we would all deal with the spiritual issue of the matter, y'all not going to be ready for that until the burden gets greater and greater and greater and greater. And when it does, then hearts will be ready to hear the word of the Most High so that they can now come out of these situations, these burdens that we are now faced with. That's when you all will be ready. But as of now, enjoy your pain. because that pain is good for you. It's changing you and causing you to be right in His presence. It's very good for you. Enjoy it. And here's the thing. I say it with humility, not with pride. I say it with humility. Enjoy it. Let it change you. Let it cultivate you. Let it prick your heart. And out of it, you will be ready to hear the word of the Most High so that you can make a change in your life. So that you can do accordingly in your life. You understand what I'm saying? Towards others. Towards yourself. You see, if your house is not straight, which is yourself, then you are not ready to deal with others. So you must make yourself right. You must be the words you speak in the presence of the Most High towards others to try to change others. You can't just speak it anymore. Lip service is rendered null and void right now, here as we speak. It has always been rendered null and void, but I'm going to tell you straight up. Your lip service means nothing anymore. Now action is at hand. And action will be according to the law. Where just like when you do evil, according to the law, you will reap that evil. When you do right, according to the law, you will reap that right. You understand what I'm saying? And so, out of our own actions, we will finally admit who is and who is not a child of the Most High. Peace and blessings.